Welcome to the deep dive. You know that feeling, right? After
Yeah.
a trip, even a short one, you just feel totally off.
Oh, absolutely. It happens to almost everyone, I think.
Yeah. So today we're diving into why travel can make us feel unwell. We've got a couple of sources, a scientific paper from the Journal of Travel Medicine looking at the biology of it all.
Right. The circadian, immune, and stress effects. Pretty detailed stuff.
Exactly. And also a YouTube and Spotify episode that explores the science behind this travel disruption.
Mm-hmm.
Our mission really is to pull out the core scientific reasons for that, travel funk.
Yeah, and it's fascinating because it goes way beyond just being tired, doesn't it? It's deep in our biology.
Okay, let's start with the classic, jet lag. The journal article really digs into circadian disruption. So what's actually happening? Why does our internal clock get so, well, messed up?
Well, think of your body having this internal master clock, the circadian rhythm. It runs on roughly a 24-hour cycle, directing sleep, hormones, metabolism, everything. And it's really tuned by light.
Light exposure.
Precisely. So when you jump across time zones, suddenly the light cues outside don't match what your internal clock expects. It's like the conductor is using yesterday's schedule.
Right. So your body's saying sleep, but it's bright daylight outside.
Exactly. And that creates this fundamental biological conflict. It's not just feeling sleepy, it's a real deep misalignment inside.
A proper internal disconnect.
Yeah.
Right. And it seems like it's not just sleep. Both sources mention impacts on our immune system, too. How does travel actually, lower our defenses?
Well, there are a few factors at play. First, travel itself often means crowded places, new environments, maybe exposure to different microbes than you're used to.
Right, airports, planes.
Yeah. And at the same time, the stress of travel, the rushing, the unfamiliarity, plus the disrupted sleep we just talked about, they both weaken your immune response.
Oh,
The science paper points out that stress hormones like cortisol, which get released when you're stressed from traveling, can actually suppress key immune cells. So you're sort of less equipped to fight things off.
so it's like a double whammy then. More potential bugs around, and your body's less ready to handle them.
You got it.
And you mentioned stress there. It seems the actual act of traveling is pretty stressful on the body, isn't it? Not just a time change.
Oh, definitely. Think about it, navigating airports, security lines, potential delays, messing up your plans, just living out of a suitcase. All these things can trigger the body's stress response system. You release hormones like cortisol. Now, in short bursts, that's fine, helps you cope.
But with travel, it can be sustained, right?
Exactly. That sustained stress response, common during travel, can impact your sleep even more, your mood, even your digestion. It's a significant physiological load, really.
It's interesting because, the standard advice is often just drink water or try to adjust your sleep schedule. But the YouTube episode description kind of hints that's often not quite enough.
That's right. Those things are helpful. Definitely good baseline advice. Drink water, absolutely. Try to shift your sleep. But they don't fully reset that internal clock instantly or, undo the immune suppression or completely stop the stress response. These are pretty complex biological systems we're talking about. They often need a bit more than just those surface level fixes.
And apparently, even people who travel all the time still face these issues. The YouTube discussion notes that. So it's not like you just get used to it completely.
Precisely. It's not about being a travel newbie or anything. The science really backs up those common experiences. Our bodies are just fundamentally reacting to the disruption of travel. It has real, measurable effects.
Okay, so to sort of boil it down from this deep dive, it seems there are three main biological hits from travel. Our circadian rhythm, our internal clock gets scrambled.
Yep. Jet lag central,
Our immune system can take a hit, become less effective.
making us more vulnerable.
And the whole process itself, the journey, triggers a significant stress response in the body.
Those are the big three, biologically speaking.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? Especially if you travel frequently.
Yeah, absolutely. What's the cumulative effect of hitting these systems again and again over the long term? That's a valid question.
That's a really interesting point, and it kind of leads to a final thought for you listening. When you travel, have you noticed these things? Maybe not labeled them biologically, but have you seen patterns in how jet lag hits you, or if you tend to get sick, or just feel stressed out when you're on the move? Something to maybe ponder before your next trip.
Definitely worth reflecting on.
Well, thanks for taking this deep dive with us today. If you're tuned in, you're probably curious about staying biologically balanced when you're on the move, dealing with travel.
Exactly. And today we're digging into some really interesting concepts around that.
We're drawing from a few places. There's episode 8, part 2, travel frequency, quantum field stability principles, and that piece mentions a scientific article.
Right, from the Journal of Quantum Biology, something about electromagnetic fields stabilizing rhythms during, environmental shifts, and also a YouTube or Spotify episode on the same topic linked to Qi Coil.
And just quickly, that's Qi, pronounced Qi. So our mission today,
Basically, to make sense of the science behind these, let's call them quantum frequency approaches, for travel wellness, keep it understandable.
and also touch on some initial firsthand experiences using this Qi coil tech for things like jet lag, real-world stuff.
Yeah, the practical side.
Okay, so let's start with the big idea. Quantum field stability principles during travel. What does that actually mean for us, when we're flying across time zones?
Well, think about it like this. Your body has its own rhythm, right? A kind of natural harmony. Travel, especially long-haul travel, really disrupts that.
Throws everything off. Sleep, energy.
Totally. So these quantum field principles suggest that maybe, just maybe, by influencing the electromagnetic fields immediately around us, we could potentially help our bodies hang on to that internal harmony better, even with the big environmental changes.
Interesting. So how does PEMF, that's pulsed electromagnetic field technology, like this Qi coil, fit into that picture? The sources mention it for travel adaptation. What's the mechanism, basically?
So the idea, and it's quite fascinating, is that devices using PEMF technology emit very specific low-level frequencies.
Okay.
Imagine your body communicates internally using subtle electrical signals. These external pulses might act like a tuning fork, helping your system sort of recalibrate or stabilize itself when it's stressed by travel.
Like a gentle nudge back towards its normal rhythm.
That's a good way to put it. The scientific thought is these pulses could help guide our biological rhythms back to stability more smoothly.
Now, I have to admit, when I hear quantum frequency, a little skepticism creeps in. And the YouTube description even flags initial skepticism. Where does that come from?
Oh, absolutely. And that's understandable. Quantum can sound very abstract, maybe even a bit woo.
Okay.
I think the initial pause comes from wanting concrete proof, right? Tangible results.
Do you want to feel the difference?
Exactly. But then you start looking at the science behind how electromagnetic fields can interact with biological systems that's established physics and biology. And you pair that with reports, even anecdotal ones initially, of people saying, hey, this actually seemed to help.
And that starts to shift things.
It makes you look again, yeah.
Yeah.
Hearing about real improvements, especially when you've experienced bad jet lag yourself, it definitely opens you up to the possibility.
And you actually used the Qi coil while traveling. The YouTube episode mentioned personal experiences.
Yeah.
What surprised you? Anything specific with jet lag or recovery?
Yes, I did try it out. And what was really noticeable, quite striking actually, was the difference in how jet lag hit me. Or rather, how it didn't hit me as hard.
Really? Less intense?
Yeah. The usual, overwhelming fatigue, feeling completely disoriented, it felt significantly milder. And it definitely didn't seem to linger as long.
So not like a magic wand, but...
No, not instant perfection. But the recovery curve felt, well, faster, smoother than previous trips without it. That was the surprising part.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting for me, connecting this seemingly new idea back to what we know about travel disruption. We all understand time zones mess with our circadian rhythms or sleep. How did these quantum frequency ideas potentially mesh with that?
That's a key question, isn't it? We know our internal clocks rely heavily on external cues, sunlight being the main one. Rapid travel scrambles those cues completely.
Right, your body clock is getting totally mixed signals.
Exactly. So the hypothesis here is that maybe these PEMF technologies offer a different kind of stabilizing signal, almost like an alternative reference point for the body, helping it adjust to the new time zone cues more efficiently.
Like an extra guide when the main guide sunlight is giving confusing directions.
Precisely. Helping to recalibrate those internal systems when the usual environmental signals are out of whack.
Okay, so let's try and summarize this deep dive then. The core takeaway seems to be that these quantum field stability principles may be applied through PEMF tech like Qi Coil could be a potential tool, a way to support our body's coherence when we travel.
Yeah, the science hints at a plausible mechanism, and these early user experiences, like the one we discussed, suggest there might be real benefits for things like easing jet lag. It's an emerging area.
Definitely food for thought.
And it leaves you, the listener, with a question to ponder. Given how deeply our biology is linked to our environment, to subtle cues, What other unexpected ways could these quantum level principles influence our well-being, especially during transitions?
Hmm. Beyond just travel, maybe.
Could be. It encourages you to think about those connections and maybe even check out the sources we talk about or look into related research. It's a fascinating intersection of physics and biology.
Today we're getting into something pretty interesting. Qi technology. It's QI, pronounced Qi.
Right. And specifically how different, ways of using it might help when you're traveling.
Exactly. We want to see how these different protocols stack up for making travel, well, maybe a bit smoother.
We've got a couple of angles to look at this from.
Yeah, we do. There's a scientific article comparing sound and electromagnetic frequencies for travel adaptation.
Sounds pretty technical.
It does, but it gives us some grounding. And then there's also a YouTube or Spotify episode. I think it's called Travel Frequency Journey Part 3.
Ah, from the Qi Coil series. That sounds more practical, like real-world use.
That's the idea. Combine the science and the sort of practical experiences to figure out which key stuff might actually work best for, travel troubles.
Okay, sounds like a good plan. Where should we start? The tech itself.
Let's do that. So the main players seem to be the Qi Coil and these Qi resonance sound beds. What's the basic difference for someone traveling?
Okay, so the Qi Coil, that uses PEMF, pulsed electromagnetic fields. Think subtle energy pulses.
Right. Supposed to interact with your body's own energy fields.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
To encourage balance. And the big thing is, it's a device, it's portable, you can actually take it with you.
Which is obviously huge for travel. And the sound beds.
Those are different. They use specific sound frequencies, sometimes vibrations too. It's more about creating this immersive relaxation state, supporting your body that way.
Ah, okay. So less portable, I'm guessing.
Definitely. You're not packing a sound bed in your carry-on. It's more something you'd find at a wellness center or maybe, a high-end hotel spa.
Gotcha. Okay, so portability is one difference. Now, the YouTube source gets into specific travel problems. Jet lag, that's the classic one.
Always.
Are there specific, programs or frequencies recommended for that from either the coil or the beds?
Well, the shared experiences from that Qi Coil series suggest certain programs, yeah. Specific frequencies, they claim, help your body clock adjust when you jump time zones.
Okay, and the sound beds.
They're mentioned too. Protocols focused on deep relaxation, helping you get proper rest, which naturally helps you adapt to the new time. Makes sense.
It does. What about just general travel stress? The airports, the delays, being somewhere new?
Yeah, that feeling. Both technologies seem to have approaches for that. The Qi Coil has programs aimed at promoting calm, reducing that anxious feeling.
So you could, use it while you're stressed? In the airport, maybe?
Potentially,
Yeah.
yeah, given its portability. And the sound beds, well, they offer that really deep unwinding session. Great for de-stressing after a tough travel day, assuming you have access.
Right, access is key there. So it does sound like the Qi Coil kind of wins for on-the-go use. Any other big advantages when you're traveling?
Well, that real-time use is the main thing for the coil, addressing jet lag on the plane or stress in the moment. The sound bed, though less convenient, might offer a deeper, more restorative session when you can get one. More intensive recovery, perhaps.
Interesting. Now, combining them,
Yeah.
that came up. How would that work? Using both.
The thinking is they could complement each other. So maybe you use the Qi Coil during the flight, proactively tackling jet lag.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you arrive, if you can, you use a Qi resonance sound bed session for a more thorough recovery, really digging into that relaxation and stress release.
Layering the approaches. Makes sense.
It's about using the right tool for the right part of the journey.
Okay, the YouTube folks mentioned measurable differences. What does that mean in practice? People feeling better, faster.
Pretty much. While the science article talks about how it might work physiologically, the practical reports are more about subjective experience. People saying, I felt like I got over jet lag quicker this time, or I wasn't as wiped out after that long flight.
So observational feedback. Not necessarily hard data from that source, but valuable experience.
Exactly. It's about perceived recovery times and reduced fatigue.
Okay, let's wrap this up with some practical advice. If someone listening is thinking about this for their next trip, how do they choose? Coil, bed, both.
It really depends on, your travel style and what you need most. Frequent flyer needs something adaptable, usable anywhere. The Qi Coil seems like the logical choice there.
Makes sense.
If your priority is deep post-travel recovery and you'll have access to a sound bed, maybe that's your focus.
Or maybe a bit of both if you can swing it.
Right. Combining them offers that layered, maybe more comprehensive support. But ultimately, you have to see what works for you. Pay attention to your own body's response.
Really useful stuff. Understanding these different key protocols, it feels like it could genuinely change how we manage the downsides of travel.
It's an interesting area, for sure. Using frequencies for wellness isn't new, but applying it specifically like this for travel is quite focused.
So final thought for everyone listening. Okay, faster recovery from jet lag is great, but think beyond that. What other parts of your travel, your mental focus for meetings, maybe your energy for sightseeing, or just your overall mood and enjoyment could potentially get a boost from these kinds of targeted frequency tools? Something to ponder.
Yeah. What else could change? Good question.
We'll leave you with that. See you next time on The Deep Dive. So, welcome everyone. This is it. The fourth and final part of our exploration into travel frequency.
That's right. We're really diving in today.
Yeah, today we're focusing on, well, a complete step-by-step travel protocol. It's designed to help you maintain your best while you're on the go.
And we'll be looking specifically at how portable Qi technology fits into that, right?
Exactly. How it can be a key part of sort of managing travel wellness.
Yeah, because in this final part, we're pulling it all together, making it practical, actionable.
We've talked about the science, the concept.
And now it's about showing you how this tech can actually be used like in a structured way to support your well-being during travel.
Right. And for this deep dive, just to recap our sources, we're looking at the episode description, travel frequency, our complete travel protocol and business applications. There's also some internal notes mentioning a scientific source, the Qi Coil travel protocols and international case studies from quilifestore.com, dated 2025.
Okay.
And then there's the info around the YouTube and Spotify titles, like Travel Frequency Journey Part 4.
Our complete travel protocol and results.
And that thumbnail, the big promise. Complete travel protocol, no more jet lag.
Yeah, that's a bold claim. We'll get into that.
We will. Plus the broader travel frequency protocol, wellness and business applications description. So quite a bit to draw on.
So our goal today really is simple. It's about giving you, whether you're, a heavy business traveler or just planning a vacation.
Right.
Giving you concrete strategies, how to stay healthy, feel good when you're traveling.
With a focus on how this portable key tech can make a real difference.
Exactly.
Okay, let's get straight to it then. This complete step-by-step travel protocol using the portable key technology, what does it actually involve? Like from start to finish, this is what we built up to.
Well, what's interesting, I think, is that it's not just about pulling out the device when you suddenly feel tired or groggy. The protocol's really designed to be proactive. It actually starts before you even pack your bags.
Really? Before you leave?
Yeah. There are recommendations for using the Qi Coil, say, in the days leading up to your departure. The idea is to kind of optimize your baseline wellness.
Ah, okay. Like getting your system ready.
Exactly. Then there are specific guidelines for using it during your journey on the plane, maybe layovers, and then again upon arrival. It's all aimed at supporting your body's natural adaptation to, well, the stresses of travel.
So it's like preloading resilience, you could say.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, preparing your system for the change.
Okay. Now, one of the biggest hurdles, I think, for anyone traveling is keeping up with routines, right?
Yeah.
Sleep, energy, just feeling normal.
Especially in hotels or during transit, it throws everything off.
Exactly. So how does this protocol help maintain some kind of consistency there?
That's a crucial point. The protocol gives you practical ways to sort of weave the Qi Coil into your travel day. So for example, in a hotel, maybe you incorporate a short session into your morning routine while you're getting ready, or maybe in the evening before bed to help promote restful sleep.
Right. Use those small pockets of time.
Exactly. And during transit, because the tech is portable, right, you can use it during downtime.
On the plane itself or the train.
Yeah, absolutely. To help mitigate that kind of drained, depleted feeling travel can often bring on. It's really about finding those small windows to give your system some support.
Portable wellness, like a constant companion. That makes a lot of sense. So how do you actually integrate the frequency healing part into these different scenarios? Can you give us some like concrete examples when and how someone might use it during a trip?
Okay, sure. Let's say you're on a long overnight flight. Big time zone jump.
Yeah, the worst.
Right. The cabin pressure changes. Your sleep pattern is totally disrupted.
Yeah.
It's taxing.
Definitely.
So the protocol might recommend specific frequency programs. One's designed maybe to support relaxation or counteract fatigue during the flight itself. Okay.
Then, when you arrive in the new time zone, the focus shifts. You might use programs designed to help your body adjust its internal clock.
Ah, the circadian rhythm thing.
Exactly.
Hmm.
The idea is that these targeted frequencies can sort of gently nudge your system, signal the local time.
Potentially easing that awful groggy jet lag feeling.
That's the goal, yeah, making it less jarring. This is where it becomes a genuine um, travel hack, for quicker travel recovery.
Yeah, I can see that. Which brings us back to that thumbnail claim. Complete travel protocol, no more jet lag. Big promise.
It is a big promise.
How specifically does this protocol aim to tackle something as notorious as jet lag?
So the core of the approach there is really helping your body's internal rhythms, that circadian clock, realign more efficiently.
That,
Think of it like, your internal clock is completely thrown off when you cross time zones rapidly.
right. Feels like it.
The protocol uses specific frequencies that are, well, theorized to interact with this internal clock.
How so? By sort of gently encouraging it to sync up with the new light-dark cycle of wherever you've landed.
So it's not forcing it, but supporting the adjustment.
Precisely. Providing a supportive signal to help your body adapt more naturally. The ultimate goal being, yes, to significantly reduce, or maybe even, for some people, eliminate the symptoms of jet lag.
That's fascinating. Now, shifting gears slightly, beyond individuals using this tech, our sources mentioned key life centers.
Yeah.
What's the concept there? How do they fit in?
Right, the key life centers. They seem to be envisioned as dedicated support hubs for travelers.
Like physical locations.
Yeah, potentially. Offering a range of services that would complement using your own portable device.
So what kind of services?
Well, imagine being able to get, say, a more intensive Qi Coil session before a really long international trip to really prep your body.
Okay, like a booster session.
Or maybe getting personalized guidance on which specific programs to use based on your particular itinerary, your travel stress levels, things like that.
Right. Tailored advice.
Exactly. So for frequent travelers, these centers could become, a really valuable resource, part of their regular routine for maintaining wellness on the road.
Almost like having a specialized wellness pit stop for your travel life.
Yeah, that's a good analogy. A wellness partner specifically for travel.
Interesting. Okay, looking ahead now, zooming out, what broader applications might we see for this kind of frequency-based travel wellness? And what about those business opportunities that were hinted at?
Well, if we think bigger picture, you could potentially see frequency wellness becoming more integrated into the actual travel experience itself.
What do you mean?
Maybe hotels start offering rooms equipped with Qi Coil technology as an amenity, or airlines incorporating frequency-based wellness options into their, say, premium cabin services or in-flight entertainment.
Wow, okay. Wellness built right in.
Could be. And on the business side, there's definite potential for companies to offer these technologies, these protocols, as part of their employee travel benefits programs.
Recognizing the impact of travel on productivity.
Exactly. Linking employee well-being directly to performance on business trips. It makes sense, right? This whole four-part series, really, it points towards this wider adoption, potentially.
Yeah, frequency-based wellness solutions really finding their niche in the travel world, a business travel solution, as the source put it. And, of course, for anyone listening who wants to dig deeper into the Qi Coil tech itself, the science, the specifics,
Yeah.
our sources consistently point to one place, glifestore.com. That seems to be the main hub for information.
Right. It's definitely the go-to resource mentioned for exploring the technology and its applications in more detail.
Well, this has been really comprehensive, a full strategy laid out for staying well while traveling.
We covered a lot of ground across these four parts.
We certainly did. And I hope this deep dive today into the actual protocol using this portable key technology has given you listening some practical ideas, things you can consider maybe to maintain your wellness on your next trip.
And maybe, just maybe, experience travel without that dreaded jet lag, or at least less of it.
Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah.
So as you think about your future travels, maybe consider how adding a portable wellness tool like this could genuinely change the experience.
Yeah, not just how you feel physically, right? But also your ability to actually be present, perform at your best, whether it's for work or, just enjoying your vacation.
Absolutely. And on that note, I think we'll bring our four-part journey into travel frequency to a close.
It's been a fascinating topic to explore.
It really has. And we'd encourage you, the listener, to just mull over the broader possibilities here. Frequency-based wellness, how it might play a role, maybe in unexpected ways, and other aspects of your life well beyond just travel.
Definitely food for thought.